righty, we're going to go ahead and get started. Nice to see all of you. Some of you, it's been a while since I've chatted with you, but it's good to see that you're here. I'm going to go ahead and get started. Today's webinar is on tips to share tutorials. And I am Lauren, the Director of Education and Product. Joining me in the chat is Arlen, and she is here to kind of assist. If you have any questions, she'll be trying to answer those in the chat as we go. And then anything that we don't get to, feel free to put those questions in the chat and we will send out the answers in today's recording, along with the presentation that we are going through today. And that includes hyperlinks to tutorials on things that I'm covering. So, all righty. So today's topics, we're going to talk about direct URL links, web embedding in websites, learning management systems, knowledge management systems, exporting help centers, and Google Translate. And so let's get started. Direct URL link and embed code. This is if you are wanting to share a tutorial directly with a learner. You know, someone emails you or calls you and asks, how do I do something? And you need to share a how-to with them. You can use our direct URL links. So I'll kind of go through this. Once you click on the tutorial and then you click on, there's several ways you can get this direct link, but one of them is by clicking share. Here is the direct link. You can choose your mode. So if you wanted to share it in watch mode or quiz mode or try mode or send the portrait PDF to them, just select the mode and then it's going to adjust the direct and short links and the step list link so that you can share it in that mode directly. Additionally, you can get that same link in the settings area as well under link and embed. So same concept there. The other thing you can do is you can hyperlink using these links and the embed code, whether you want to hyperlink text, an image, or even a GIF. You can email those things, like those tutorials, in an email, and you can also add them to your website. So whether you're going to hyperlink it on a website or you want to embed it on a website, either way, you can do that. And then the last one would be our step list and Gmail option. This does require you to add an add-on to your Gmail. I have it linked here. It's called Free HTML Editor. And so I'll kind of show you briefly how that works. But once you go into your Gmail and you add the free HTML editor, you're going to come into this source area and you're going to paste in the embed code. So right here under that link and embed, which is one of the areas I was just showing you, you can scroll down under embed and then it'll be set to web embed code. You want to check the step list option and then copy that code. Now I would, just for ease, I would also check the player first option and then copy the code and then paste that code, oops, wrong one, paste that code into the HTML add-on. And that way, what happens is you'll see over here is what the preview is, and you'll see that player first, and then you'll see the step list underneath it. Now, unfortunately, emails do not allow iframes. So what we'll need to do is we'll need to remove this player and just keep the step list starting here. So what I've done is highlighted the iframe code here. Where's it end? Right here. All right. And you can just get rid of that and then it will remove it from there. And now I can close the editor and you have this step list right in your email so you can send it and send it right away to the person that's asking for help. So that's a really neat, easy way to send how to. Or of course, you can send a link to someone or embeds, or not embed, hyperlink an image. But that's another option there. The next would be websites. So embedding an iorad tutorial in a website is super easy. Maybe you want to embed it into a Google site if you're a Google organization, or you want to embed a web help center into a Google site, even better. maybe you want to share a PDF export or share in watch mode without the instruction panel. So what that looks like is, for example, we have an iorad tutorial embedded inside of iorad.com homepage. If you go underneath the capture, share, and learn, you'll see the iorad tutorial embedded. It's fully interactive. So it's a really nice user experience. And again, you can still select which mode you prefer to be default, or you can leave all the modes there as well. So that's another option. You can embed that in your own website. The share and watch mode without the instruction panel. If you wanted to share in watch mode under layout, you can adjust the default mode here to watch mode, watch it, and then you can adjust the panel. So our default is the full panel, but if you wanted to change it to only nav bar, for instance, when I click on start,
the first step is to open inbox.
And it's going to just have that minimized navigation bar at the bottom and then play like a video. So that's another option there. And again, you would just then grab that link or the embed code and it would embed that way. Next up, we have our learning management systems. We do have tons of integrations with different learning management systems. So if you are utilizing one of these on the list, it's your lucky day, and you can utilize either the extension integration or API integration if we have one. Some we do and some we don't, but feel free to check out the iorad integrations page and it will give you a tutorial on each one of these systems. But just to kind of briefly talk about those different integrations, you can share an iorad tutorial using the extension integration, which I'll show using Lessonly. So once you go into Lessonly, again, these all work just the same. So Lessonly, WorkRamp, NorthPass, any of those, they all work the same. Once you're in your course, you'll look for the iorad icon. If you're not seeing the iorad icon, that's probably because you don't have the iorad extension installed on your browser. So you'll want to make sure that that is installed. And then if you're not seeing it up here, you'll want to pin it. If you're in Chrome, you want to pin it using this puzzle piece and then click the pin button. Once you see the iorad extension, then you can just click on it. And then it's going to launch capture. So there's a few options here. You can capture a new tutorial on the web application, a desktop application, or you can pull in an existing tutorial that you previously captured. So I'm going to just click on existing and click select tutorial. And then it's going to give you this little guidance note here. So I'm just going to go ahead and click settings for my tutorial that I want to embed. And then I'm going to click on complete. And then it's going to pull it into my Lessonly course for me, just like that. So I also recommend if you're in Lessonly to make the wide view. Some of the other LMSs have another option to expand the window as well. So that way you have more space to view it that way. So it's as easy as that. You can also edit the tutorial in here as well. And those all sync, all your edits sync. Additionally, we have our API integration for certain systems. And then if you aren't using any of our learning management system integrations or any of the systems we have an integration with, we also have the option to manually embed. So there's no problem if you aren't using one of those listed, you can use the manual embed option, whether it's the URL or the embed code. And I'll show you what that looks like here in a little bit. Next up is our knowledge management systems. Again, I have the link here to the integrations page. So if you wanted to learn more about any of these knowledge management systems and how we integrate, feel free to check that out. But this is just our list here. So you can take a look and see if you integrate with any of those or use. And now I'm going to use the example of Zendesk. So with knowledge management systems, you typically are going to embed a step list into the article. You may just want the player, but typically you're looking more for an article style, text, image format. So again, we have the same options of the extension API and manual, but first I'm going to show you the manual option, and then I'll show you the API integration. So using Zendesk as our example, again, they all work really similarly. You'll look for this code icon, source code. And so you're going to click on that, and then that's where you're going to paste in that embed code. So again, you'd come down here on that link in embed under embed. Some of these integrations, we do have optimized code. So you could choose the Zendesk optimized code in this case. You want to make sure you probably want the step list included, and you may want the player first, maybe not. And then you're just going to click copy and then paste it in here and click OK. And just like that, you automatically embedded it manually into Zendesk. The other alternative is to use our API integration. So when you're in the settings screen, you'll want to go to publish to, which is where our full list of integrations are. And then after you've connected your system, then you're just going to select, in this case, Zendesk. You'll want to make sure you uncheck draft, and then you'll click step list. Again, you have the same options, mobile size or player first. And then you can also select where you want to share it. So I'm just going to select FAQ and click publish, and it's going to make my article for me. So now I can just click view, and then now it has created that article. And just like that, you have your knowledge management or knowledge base article. And you have the player at the end. So,
and Lauren, you had said earlier about syncing. If I changed my tutorial, would that then also automatically update, or do I have to keep uploading it?
yes. So if you update it in iorad or you update it in Zendesk, it's going to update everywhere that you have embedded it. Okay, so those are the three different ways that you can embed an iorad tutorial. Now, if you didn't want to use the interactive approach or embed the interactive mode, then you could also export the iorad tutorial. Now, to Arlen's point, if you wanted to update it and then you export it to MP4, it's going to then require you to re-download and re-upload every time when you're doing the MP4 video. Whereas if you were to embed it, just like I showed previously, it would automatically update everywhere for you. So that's kind of one of the big positives to using iorad, so that you don't have to upload and download every time you update. So, however, we know that there are times where you want an MP4 video. Maybe you wanted to upload it to YouTube, or you wanted to put it into PowerPoint or Google Slides, and you can't embed an iframe, things of that nature. You do have the option to export to an MP4 video. So I'll kind of give you a look at these different export options using an iorad tutorial.
As far as video,
And I'm just going to pause this here. So, oops. Here we have our different options. So with our video export, you have the options of the step panel. So you can choose if you want only the nav bar, if you want the whole instructions, or the minimize panel. You can choose if you want the full screen, if you want to hide the cover. You can even have closed captioning, just like YouTube. And you can choose to upload to YouTube once you have added the YouTube connection in the integrations page. So the YouTube connection is made under the YouTube integrations page as well. So those are the MP4 options. And then once you download it, or generate the download, shall I say, we can just preview what it looks like. And it looks just like a video. So I'm going to open it up on YouTube. And here we go. So this is what the tutorial looks like on YouTube. Here's the minimize step panel that is showing currently. So it doesn't have the navigation bars since there's not going to be anyone navigating. They're just watching the video on YouTube. But that's one of the options so that it's not that full panel and it looks, you know, just really nice and clean. And I have it muted, so it would be playing audio if I hadn't muted it. But that's what the YouTube version or the MP4 version looks like. The other option you have is to export as a doc. Whether you're a Microsoft organization and you use docx files, or you're a Google organization and you use Google Docs, we have both of those. So we have the docx, which you can choose portrait or landscape. You can choose your font, and you can choose the image zoom. So whether you want full screen or fully zoomed in to the click area, you have that option. You can then export once you choose those things. And then this is where you can then upload it to a Google Drive, upload it to Google Drive as a Google Doc. So I'm just going to go ahead and show you what the Google Doc version looks like, since the docx looks very similar. And this is what the Google Doc version looks like. And so here, of course, you can, it's a Google Doc, so you can edit it, you can add more information, anything like that. And you can share it in your organization like so. So you can collaborate, make comments, things like that. And that's why a lot of people who use Google as their sharing really like it, because they can collaborate on this document with others that don't have iorad creator accounts. Next up is our HTML option. Now, the video doc and Google Slides are all professional features, or professional plan features, whereas the HTML tab here, these three options are all included in our company plan. So just wanting to note that we do have the option, but it is in the company plan, whereas the other ones are in our professional plan. But if you were interested in learning more about them, on this export preview tutorial, there's these three blue buttons, and if you click on them, they're going to send you to the area, or send you to a downloadable file where you can then upload them to your system and see how that output looks, and if that's kind of what you're looking for. And then the last one would be Google Slides. Again, for those using Google, who are a Google organization, you can export, you can choose your full screenshot. And it's just a really nice way to collaborate, especially when you're doing product training. That way you can collaborate on either new features, on new processes with others outside of iorad who are creating the content. You'll see the image is on the slide, and you also will see the text, or that, you know, that instructional text is down in the speaker notes. So another way to collaborate. Alrighty. Oops. Next up are our help centers. And okay, sorry, I got distracted by Kevin's question. Squirrel. So help centers. We have three different types of help centers. We have our web widget and our extension help center. And they all have one thing in common, and that is sharing a repository of your tutorials with all your learners. So the differences would be with the Web Help Center, can be used universally. So everyone uses the Web Help Center differently, and it's really up to you, and it's flexible how you want to use it. Whereas the widget is more for product training, where, you know, when you're on our website, you'll see that pink question mark icon at the bottom right. This is the widget, and it's for product tutorials. So if you have your own application or your own website, you want your own training to show in here, that's what the widget is used for. So you can open it and view your training tutorials that way. And then I'll come back to the Web Help Center here. And then the extension is for internal training. So anyone in your internal organization, you can share training that way. So I'm going to come back up to Web Help Center real quick here. And you can get to the Web Help Center by clicking that Help Center button. clicking the web option. And then if you haven't activated it, you'll need to click activate and then click on views. This is where you can create a number of views for different audiences, different applications. It's really up to you how you want to create these views, but I'm just going to focus on employee training as an example. And so what you can do is we have it separated by the websites that you captured from, and then you can look at it from categories or tags. And once you open up that view here, you'll see it brings in all your branding. It has your title here, and then you have your tutorials, a subset of tutorials that you've included in this view. It's fully searchable. So for your learners, you can see what that looks like and go through the tutorial. This is the stepless view. So if you chose to only have the player, you could have just the player and not have that step list view if you would like. But it's embeddable anywhere you would like. So whether that's a Google site, a SharePoint page, a website, anywhere, you can embed it. And it's just an easy way to share a bunch of tutorials with a certain group of people really fast and easy. So that's the Web Help Center views.
And where do you get the code for if I want to embed that?
And then you can copy the code here or copy the URL if you wanted to link out to it here. Thank you. The widget, now that is, oops, wrong button. That is also in the Help Center right here under widget, and it's going to pull in all the tutorials on your application. Again, we have tutorials on how that works, but since I'm covering all the ways to share, I can't go into all the details today, but that is right here, and you can hook up your site and it'll pull in all your tutorials. And then lastly, we have our extension option. And kind of what that looks like is, let me open up my Gmail. And then I'm going to click on the iorad extension. And now I'm logged in, so you're seeing a bunch of stuff. But if I were logged out, you're going to see the Gmail tutorials because we have Google certified trainers that create Google app tutorials in iorad. So that's what all those are that you would see logged out, but on Google Apps. Now, if you're on another application that you use, maybe a CRM or an accounting system, payroll system, things of that nature, you would then create your own tutorials and share them and ask your learners or your employees to log in and add that iorad extension here. Notice I'm logged in. So if I were to log out, you would just see the Google ones, but since I'm logged in, you're seeing all the ones that have been shared with me. So you can share tutorials with your learners as well, and I'll show you quickly how to do that. Again, if you are a Google organization, we do have the sign in with Google button, so it's super simple. Otherwise, they would just need to create an account, which isn't hard either. But to share a specific tutorial with your learners, you'll just click on that tutorial, click on share, click on invite. And then here, if it's like 1 to 5 learners, you could just add their email here and press enter. You can upload a list of people that you would like to invite. Or if you wanted to share a tutorial or a group of tutorials with everyone in your organization, choose the enable domain sharing option. And it's going to take the end of your email that you're logged in with and share it with everyone in your organization. You can also enter another domain name here if you had a couple in your organization that are used. So that would be how you can then share the tutorials within your organization. Did I forget anything, Arlen, on that? Okay. And then last up is our Google Translate option. This is super powerful and helpful if you have.
You have 5 minutes. I just want to let you know.
Okay. If you have learners that English is not their first language. So what that looks like is when we're going to go to the Help Center. Oops, wrong tab. Here we go. Here's the Help Center. It's in English. What if I wanted to translate the Help Center to Spanish? So I'm going to translate it to Spanish using this ling equals ES on the end of my domain. And now the same Help Center is in Spanish. When I open the categories and tutorials, they're in Spanish. When I click on a tutorial, they are now in Spanish. So you can then share this URL with that language added on, that language parameter added on with the Spanish speaking learners, and it's already translated for you. So.
And how did you know to do the ES? What if it was a different language?
The language, there's language codes on Google, and each of these have links to tutorials where you can learn more how to, where you can do that. The other way is the learner can actually do that themselves if you don't share it with them and someone comes to it and they want to translate it themselves. So I'll show you quickly how, as a learner, you can translate. And that would be, you click on this translate icon, and then you can select the language here. And we use Google Translate, so all of the Google Translate languages are available. And again, it translates all your text. And
The first step is,
and just the audio would remain in English, as well as your screenshot as well. But this is all in Spanish. Alrighty. So that is all the ways to share iorad tutorials. I do have some articles of interest for some of those things that didn't fit in a box. If you wanted to learn more about HubSpot integrations, we do have a Slack integration, which customers love, embedding in Google Sites, Intercom, and then more about our API and extension integrations as well. So feel free, once we send this presentation out, to check out those. Arlen, any questions in the chat?
Yeah, we had one from Kevin. He was wondering about how to get Lessonly integrated and how to get it hooked up. And
Yeah,
I
so-
told him that we would send the tutorial link for that. But if there's
So-
something you want to say.
Yes, Kevin, that's because your tutorial is set to embed only, and it might not have the right whitelisted URL in there. So I'll look at your account when I get a chance, and we'll make sure that everything looks right there, and then I'll reach out if we need to do something there, but we'll be in touch. Any other questions?
There were not.
All righty. Well, it was great to spend some time with you all today, and feel free to reach out if you have any questions or want to learn more. You can book some time with me. Just click schedule training at the top of the screen here under more, and we can spend some time and learn more about what you need, what your needs are, and how iorad can help. So have a great rest of your day.